Chapter 28. The Tryon Thing. The next morning, Skye woke with a start. The sky was dark, and Dylan stood over her. He was alert, as if this early hour was the perfect one to start the day. "What do you want?" he asked. "Huh?" Barely able to open her eyes, she rubbed the sleep from them, but she settled for squinting out the side of one. "What did you want yesterday?" He scowled. Skye peeked up at Dylan with her one eye and scolded him. "Hey, no mean looks. It's, like, super early. My brain isn't working. I've been up for hours." He sighed as he crossed his arms. "Of course, you have," Skye mumbled. "Pfft, not all of us are awake before the chickens." Skye rolled to her side, pulling a pillow close. "We ain't got chickens," he said. "Yeah, we should get chickens." She trailed off on a yawn, closing the one good eye. But Dylan wasn't allowing that. "Hey, you speak now, or you ain't going anywhere." Skye puffed out a vaguely irritated breath. "Oh. To see Tom and Trisha and to call Dad. They have a landline." She brought her hand to her mouth to cover a yawn, then opened both eyes, gauging Dylan's reaction to the request. He gave a little grunt Skye took to mean okay and pressed his lips together a few times as he scuffed one foot against the wood floor. "Get ready then. I'm gonna check things out, we can go after breakfast." Before Skye knew it, he was almost out the door. "What? Now?" Her moaned response made it clear she did not agree with Dylan's plan. "Yeah, now. Has anyone ever told you, you're a very mean man? Turning people out of their beds like this? Now." Dylan chuckled but didn't relent. Skye sighed but thanked him sweetly as he walked away. When Dylan got back, breakfast was ready. As they ate the morning meal, the group decided that everyone would go to Trisha and Tom's. Jesse wasn't about to miss another field trip, no matter the horrible results of yesterday, of which he wouldn't stop talking. Wade didn't want to stay behind either. After eating, the four packed some supplies the Coles were willing to part with, and that Skye thought Tom and Trisha would appreciate, into Dylan's newly acquired truck and headed off into town. "So, new truck?" Skye asked as she leaned up from the back seat where she sat beside Jesse. She remembered a whole evening dedicated to the debate over what truck was best, and this had been one Dylan admired. "Neighbors," Dylan said. Skye winced. Every new item seemed to come at someone's expense. She took a deep whiff of the leather interior. Nice. Figured you'd like it." He smiled at her in the rearview mirror. She agreed and smiled back. Skye dropped her gaze and frowned. Something was different about him.
This morning before the sun rose, Dylan had crouched at the edge of the woods and listened as it woke. A night's sleep and the soothing sounds of his beloved forest helped calm the anger that still burned within him. "Today is a new day, I ain't gonna spend it angry. What's done is done. I don't agree with letting them go, but she wouldn't go for anything besides comin' home. That's what she said, take me home." My whole world tipped when she said that. Dylan's resolve had eased things between him and Skye. He was more relaxed with her today than he had ever been. But while Dylan was relaxed, it wasn't the case with the rest of them. Dylan felt the mood like he felt the weather. At first, he'd thought the tense atmosphere was from yesterday's scare. But the more he thought about it, he reckoned it was possible it had something to do with his bad mood yesterday. He needed to do better about that. Skye liked to talk things out, and Dylan tried, but it was as foreign to him as a day in Japan. Still, no matter what he thought, she said a person should communicate, and she had the book learning to back it up. It was what she wanted to teach the boy, and it sure wouldn't hurt Wade and him none. For now, he wanted to smooth it over with her. "You know, we would have been there sooner yesterday, but we couldn't make out that chicken scratch you call ridin' you left behind." Sky stared at him stunned for a moment. Uncertain, she studied his serious face and hesitated as she asked, "Are you joking? Is this you teasing me?" Dylan's stern demeanor broke as his eyes crinkled, and a smirk curved the right side of his mouth. He was as tickled by his joke as her response. Sky made a fist and punched his arm. "You are teasing me." Her eyes lit up, and she laughed. He didn't know how women felt about this kind of interaction, but guys considered it a success. "Nah, it was a nice letter." Dylan hung his head a little. His self-confidence was raised, but he still felt on thin ice. Dylan glanced at Sky. Had he said the right thing? He wasn't sure how this friend thing worked with a woman, but from her reaction, he seemed pretty good at it. Sky smiled. "I meant it. Every word." He nodded and faced the road again. Maybe this trying thing wasn't so bad.